throughout my career, I've had many horror stories, but when we talk about pre-sales, particularly, I had a, a few, unfortunately. And we always talk about the good things that we do, like, oh, I'm amazing at doing this thing and that thing. We never talk about the horror stories that have happened to us. So it's like survivor bias. But
Indeed.
I've had one. Let me list them. I've had one that had to do with relationship with an account manager.
Mm.
I had one that had to do with a very poorly executed proof of concept. Uh, some more account management stuff. Where do you want to start? What tickles your fancy?
Oh, let's start with the one involving an account executive. By the way, Jason Zekowitz, I hope I'm saying that right. Jason says boo back to you, Jason. Nice to hear from you. I hope we hear from some other folks. All right, start out pre-sales horror story that involved your account executive, your account manager.
So one of them was like we were trying to break into this one big account. We've been trying to break into it for a few years. We have this opportunity. I've been working on it with that account manager for a while, and we invited the senior VP of sales for Americas. We invited the senior VP of sales engineering. Uh, they came up. So we had and we had the VP of product management as well. They all came in. We walked in the room. We had the meeting at 9 o'clock. 9:01. We're at the elevator at the bottom of the building. We need to go up to the whatever floor. And my salesperson looks at me and says, Ramsey, why don't you go get everybody some coffee? And the customer's right there with us. He's inviting us in. I'm like, sure. There's like, all right, coffee for
So
30.
you're already late, by the way, is what
Yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
with that particular salesperson, if we're 5 minutes late, we're like 20 minutes early. So it's the opposite of like, hey, if you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. No, this is what this guy was
He
doing.
was he had the opposite mentality.
Yeah, so I ended up like he asked me that in front of the customer, in front of the VP of sales, in front of my boss's boss, in front of VP of product
Asked
management.
you to go get coffee.
Yeah, and like Tim Hortons, other like I don't know if anybody knows Tim Hortons, but in Canada it's kind of like Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so crappy coffee. I don't know if Dunkin' Donuts is crappy coffee. I've never been in the US. So I walked. Tim Hortons is right across the hall. Walked in there, got the coffee. 30 minutes later, I was up in the room offering everybody coffee, and I missed half of that big meeting that we were a part of. And
Oh man, that's classic.
yeah,
But by the way, Tim Hortons, is that what you said?
Tim Hortons. Yeah.
Tim Hortons, yeah. You know, this is neither an endorsement or the opposite of their coffee. So basically, at the end of the day, this account manager basically sort of belittled you in front of the group and sort of made it almost as if to say, we don't need you. We don't need you in the meeting. You're more valuable to us just going to get coffee for the client.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he meant it that way, but that's how it felt like. And I was maybe a year into my career as a sales engineer. He's my first salesperson. I didn't know any better.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
so yeah, it was. I was a little peeved when I showed
Yeah,
up to the meeting, and like half hour later, I'm sweating, carrying buckets of coffee. Uh,
very,
but
very demeaning.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
But by the way, Sean Myers chimes in as well. Sean, good to see you. Happy Halloween to you as well, my friend. And I hope others will say hello as well.
yeah.
Share the one, or you mentioned that one thought comes to mind or one story comes to mind around a POV or a POC. Was it, and what did you call it? Did you call it proof of values back then? Proof of
POC,
concepts?
POC.
Yeah, most
It's
people
been a
call them
proof of
POC. Yeah.
concept for a while. For that one, we've been working again trying to break into an account. So the company that I worked for at the time, we were not the incumbent in pretty much any company in Canada. So every story starts with I'm trying to break into this account. Um,
Yep.
and this one trying to break into this account. I'm a generalist SE. So I cover, I don't know, 20 products. We have specialists behind this. We've been talking with the specialist and with the customer for like 2 months now, getting ready for this POC. And 2 days before the actual POC, we got on the call with the customer. We went through the testing that they want to do. So we had a POC plan, sort of. and it was good. We're great. At 5 minutes towards the end of the call, the guy asked the specialist, "By the way, do you want to support X?" They're like, "Yes, we want to support X." He's like, "Oh, then the server that Ramsey has will not work for you." All right, perfect. We're trying to break into. We're gonna do as much as we can to help them out. How about we get like you have one in your lab in Austin. He was in Dallas. You have one in your lab in Dallas. Ship it up to me. So he ships it up to me, and this is not one horror story. This is like a series of events.
It's a series.
Yeah. So he overnighted it to me. We still have a day. I showed up. I went to the office 10 o'clock at night, configured everything, made sure everything is working. And by I made sure everything is working, I turned it on, clicked a few things, turned it back off because it looked fine. Showed up to the customer site on time, ready to go. And every 10 minutes, it would just stop working. Every 10 minutes, it would just stop working. So I told the customer, how about I just take it back? Don't waste your time. Let me go figure this out and I'll come back whenever we're ready. So I spent the entire day at the customer site and then trying to figure it out. Again, it's late at night, trying to work things out. The next day, still trying to figure it out. And I got engineering involved this time because nobody could figure it out. It's like, oh, well, you have that wrong configuration on here. That should be something else. I'm like, but it's not in any of the manuals. It's not there. At no point did you say that in the manual that this is not supposed to work. Anyways, now we're 2 days late, so it's already we're already trying to catch up, and we're getting later and later. Now the customer doesn't have time for me because he had set up 2 days,
of course,
to work with me.
Yeah,
I would show up on site, and a lot of it is integration with their stuff, and the customer just wasn't available for me. So it was a lot of hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And then IPsec is involved, and it's very hard to debug IPsec because everything's encrypted. Anyways, 3 days later, like the customer just stopped showing up. I'm still trying to salvage it. We're escalating. We're bringing in product management. We're bringing in senior leadership to meet with the management of that individual engineer. In the end, it was just a week of me pulling my hair, getting people on calls, and in the end, we lost the deal. That was a rough week for me. Like it was failure from like it wasn't a period of time where I'm doing well and then all of a sudden things happen. No, it started off really, really horribly by not asking that stupid question at the beginning 3 months ago, and it kept going.
Yeah,
you get better. Could not salvage that one.
Well, and it's what comes to mind for me is we see this so often, right? An engagement, a POC, it gets off on the wrong foot to begin with, right? And it's sort of like the term good money after bad, right? It's good time spent after bad time spent kind of thing, right? And for some reason we don't have either the wherewithal or the courage to just like put on the brakes and say, well, time out here. Like, what are we doing here?
What we're doing is trying to break into this. Like when you're talking with account management, they're trying to break into this opportunity. Like it could be the best customer we've had. So we're going to, I played sports. I played basketball, and I never gave up until like the whistle was blown. And we're kind of in the same boat where I took it personally. Like I thought I did my job. I thought I did everything right by getting the right people involved. I thought I did everything right by having a POC plan ahead of time. I thought I did everything right by showing up early to the customer and making sure that the customer is available for at least 2 days for me.
Yeah.
So that we can work on it together, because I thought I did everything right, and still everything went wrong.
Yeah.